All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the last Friday Mastermind of 2024. It is literally days until 2025. We are going to have Todd Bookspan join us in a little bit. Him and his wife do their morning walk, and she took him on a little detour. So he'll be here within minutes. This is the first time I think I've had Neel Dhingra as a guest in the Mortgage Coach slash Trust Engine community. What's up, Neel?
Hey man, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, dude, first of all, double thank you. One, for doing it, and two, for doing it during the holidays. So appreciate you,
Yeah.
brother. Are you working through the holidays right now?
Well, yeah, I think it's just weird. It fell on a Wednesday and then we had stuff kind of to wrap up for the year end. So I've been just kind of working through it. But all that to say is if you're off and you're watching this on replay, dude, you did it right. Take the time to be with your family. It's been a hard year and for those of us who have put in the work, I know how much we work, how hard we worked this year. We had to work 2x to get this or 3x in some cases to get the same results. And so if you took some time off, man, good for you.
Yeah. And if you didn't take time off, but you're working to get clarity coming in the new year, good for you too.
Yeah. Good for
But
you.
I,
Yeah. I'm all about the put in the work while the competitors are laying off, like December. I did a lot. I got a lot accomplished. We still have 3 more days, and I got a lot accomplished in the month of December, and that's typically a time when people kind of check out. So I started saying, 2025 starts now in the beginning of December, just because I was like, man, let's go. And but I mean, but I'm not saying that's right. Like somebody else might have put in the work all year long and they took December off. Cool, good for you. Like everyone do you, but I do think if you're not in the place you want to be in this business, you're not happy. Maybe you wanted to get to the next level. There is a formula for doing this, and it's working harder and smarter. A lot of people are like, oh, you should work hard. Don't work hard. I want to work smart. Yeah, you get to work smarter after you work harder. You got to do both, and so that's what I'm doing right now. And I've been in that season for a while.
Yeah, well, I've had years where I literally taken off the 2 weeks off of Christmas
Yeah,
and New Year's, and I've had more years where I have worked. But my goal when we hit the first week in January every year for my entire professional career is to start the year with recovery. So I'm getting in
yeah,
my recovery time. I'm making sure I get to bed on time, making sure that I do what I need to do to come in fresh and recovered and with clarity. And that is my hope for everyone that's part of this community. You come in recovered, you come in with clarity, and even if you're not there at this moment, it's not too late. Because I do believe 2025 is just one of those years. It is a pivotal year where when we get to 2027, we will have the haves and the have-nots in mortgage. And
yes,
and the haves are getting more market share. That happened all throughout 2024. You just saw the most successful people kill it. Like I'm interviewing people doing over $100 million in bit volume. They're picking up market share and not just in their market, but database share. They're picking up database share. And then there are people that are not. And so my goal is, and one thing I know for sure is the people that are on the haves side of things, they're using technologies and they're building personal brands. That's why we're going to
yes,
talk about what it means to optimize your personal brand in 2025. For anyone who's new to the business and you don't know who Neel is, truly one of the most prolific leaders when it comes to using social media, when it comes to using personal brand. He's built an incredible community of not only mortgage, but mortgage real estate professionals. When I was at your event, Neel, I felt like anybody that is local, referral based, has a niche, because it could be a digital niche, but is serious
yeah.
about personal brand, is at your event every year. So, just for anyone that hasn't heard you speak before or doesn't know who you are, just kind of describe how you see your role in the industry.
Well, just yeah, for the people who don't know me, my personal brand is has been the big thing that's helped me kind of grow my business and do all these cool things. It's opened doors that I didn't even know existed, honestly. But for those of you who don't know, I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. The first 15 years, I kind of was the typical mortgage LO, stuck at a certain level. Like I would say I was trying to grow and do things, but in reality, I was kind of like each year was the same. So when I say 15 years, maybe I had like 5 years because the 10 of those years were literally the same thing every year. depending on, I was kind of just a pawn in the game, whatever interest rates moved. If we had a lower rate year or a bigger year for the industry, I got more volume, and then vice versa. If it was a slow year, I kind of went down, and I was always stuck at this mid six figures level, which by the way is a great living. Like I was doing well, running a branch, running a team, doing, my own production. But then what I found is I was just burnt out. I was tired of doing this. And I remember in 2018, I looked at kind of where I was at in the industry. And if you recall, Dave, 2018 was a down year for the mortgage industry.
Right.
I mean, nothing like we're dealing with this year, last couple of years, but it was a tough year. There was a lot of resetting going on, some layoffs going on. And I was like, man, I took that time to reflect, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to spend another year doing the same thing. It was like around the end of year, uh, you know, in the winter. And I was like, man, I'm going to do something different. And so I started to look at social media as a strategy to go one to many. So I was in the mode of one to one. And most people watching and doing, in the industry, you're taught to make the calls one to one, talk to your clients one to one. Now, that is essential. You need that for the business. But what I started to learn from all the marketing greats outside of our industry was like, hey, I need a one to many strategy. So essentially, I started using social media to grow my business. And what happened is I put out really bad videos. Like, when you get those Facebook memories and it shows you your videos from 2018, I'll show you some of my videos, guys. Like they were horrible, cringe-worthy, but I still did them, still posted them. Even with bad content, I noticed I got traction with more referrals, more awareness in my sphere, more database action. And from there, just kept getting better. So I got through that cringe phase. Then I figured out what works and just kept doing it. And then I started to, I really, was able to grow my business and income to multiple seven figures and net income, which was really cool. And I'm not saying that to flex. I'm just saying like what I was doing was working, not just the market. Sometimes people will say, hey, Neel, you made a lot of money and you make a lot of money. That was because of low interest rates during 2019 to 2022. And then I'm like, my response to that, Dave, is like, well, then why didn't you make millions of dollars? Like if all it took was low rates and market conditions to make millions of dollars, why doesn't everybody do that when it's busy? Well, I found that this business is all about peaks and valleys. And we're definitely in one of those valleys, but there's still people crushing it. And then why is it when you get a little bit of upswing and then, God forbid we get a really big upswing, why is it that certain people in the industry make 10 times the money than other people? What is that difference? And it's because of something unique that they're doing, right? And so for me, the thing that I'm doing was building my personal brand and putting out content. Now, for somebody else, it might be something a little bit different. Like maybe whatever it is, you have a one-to-many strategy where you're reaching a lot more people than the standard person. And in my case, I'm using technology to do that. And then we can get into like how I did it with funnels and webinars and all kinds of cool stuff. But essentially, it's really basic. Like take the message, and all these people, I believe everybody has a problem. There's this small circle of people that know, like, and trust you. That's your sphere. That's your database. Those are your past clients and the people who refer you. That's great. But in a slower market, Dave, like it feels like that's not enough anymore.
Mm.
And so you need to make that sphere bigger. So I love warm referrals. I just want to get more of them. So I'm not saying, hey, let's go to the internet and do cold internet leads. I'm saying, hey, what could we do that would allow us to work with people who respect us, know, like, and trust us? How do we build that to be really big so that way you're getting more referrals at all times, regardless of market conditions? And I kind of cracked that code, and it just led to really cool things. And then now I've been able to help the industry. So a lot of people asked me, hey, could you come teach our group? Could you come speak to our sales team? Could you help me here? And so I started doing that on a one-off basis. One thing I found, Dave, is just because you know something doesn't mean you can teach something. It's a totally different
Right.
animal to teach people. So it took me like last 3 years of really learning how to teach this and really learning how to convey the message and becoming a good speaker and becoming a good educator. And finally got there as well. I'm like on my way there. And we host events now throughout the year. I speak, at all the major events and try and help people as much as possible, just moving the industry forward.
Well, guys, I can tell you, I attended the Forward event this year, and it was spectacular. It was not only very fun, very entertaining. The quality of the room and the people were some of the movers and shakers in both mortgage, real estate. Uh, Met some insurance people, just what I call the wealth team. Everybody that surrounds a family to help them achieve financial freedom. And they are serious about using social media, serious about video, serious about using technology to build brand and create value. They were at this event. And then I loved it. It was also very tactical. Like you got really big picture strategy, and then you got very
Yeah.
tactical, which I do want to do. So guys, this week we're
Yeah.
almost through the first quarter of this 1 hour mastermind. If you do have questions for Neel, we're flowing. Like we did not prep, so we will get to questions. Put those in chat. If you're on Zoom, God, how many people we got? Man, we got 90 people on Zoom. Great job. We got a good group. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching the recording, put questions. We'll make sure either Neel or I will answer any questions that you engage with us. So Neel, let's spend the next 15 minutes being pretty high level strategy so that we could go in the second half of this call and do some tactics. Uh, I'm not going to do 101, like what is a personal brand?
Yeah.
Because if you're here, like, first of all, go to ChatGPT and go personal brand defined, define personal brand. You can Google that, you get that on ChatGPT. I do want to talk and hear your perspective on one, if there's anything that's new, like 2025, optimize your personal brand. For people, let's just consider this group is
Yeah.
advanced, like they all have brands or they're building brands. Is there anything new, anything that we should be thinking about? I've got some personal ideas on it, but what's new this year, and what should people be thinking about in 2025?
Well, with all the AI and all these cool things, I'll get into some tactical things that you can use AI to really scale the amount of content that you can put out there and really be omnipresent, Like if you Google yourself, what comes up, you know, and where are you, reaching people and how many impressions are you getting on a weekly basis? And so I think people have been asleep a little bit in our industry. I was talking to my friend Barry Habib, and he says that LOs typically will be whistling past the graveyard. And I had to go to ChatGPT to explain what that means. And essentially, it's like, man, there's this train going right now, and it's consumer attention, right? And if you look outside, Dave, I was walking in the office last week, and there was a guy walking into our building, and he hit his foot on the curb and fell. And the reason why was because he was looking at his phone as he was walking. Like people can't even, walk from their car to the building without looking at their phone. If you ever look anywhere, people's backs are permanently curved. There's actually like a back condition. Chiropractors are dealing with this, where your back is curved from just looking at your phone too much and scrolling. Like there's never been more people addicted to this device in the history, and it's not getting better; it's getting worse. And so you have this massive opportunity where every single person, pretty much, old, young, millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, whatever you say, they're all on the device. What sites are they on? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, whatever you want to be, uh, and LinkedIn included, right? So they're all on these sites. It would be irresponsible to be like, hey, you know what? I'm just not going to participate. I'm just going to continue to work my local market, and I don't need that. Like you could have said that for years, but we've now come to the point where it's at a tipping point where you will notice a serious deterioration in your business in the coming years if you do not participate. So that doesn't mean you have to go all in like me, but you at least have to participate. So first and foremost, big picture clouds, like you got to take this seriously 2025. Let's make this the year where you take this seriously. And if you've been dabbling, that's okay. Let's just kind of lock in and it doesn't mean like you have to post every day like me, but could you post twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday, every week? Could you pop on and say something of value to the audience? That would put you ahead of 90% of the competition. If you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, now you're ahead of 95% of the competition. If you go 5 days a week, now you're in the top 1 or 2% of creators. If you start to get really good, you get into the top percent. So what I found out is social media is not saturated from a standpoint of if you're doing it with intention. It is saturated, people posting videos every day. Most of the videos are garbage. Most of the people that post content, they're really just posting sales ads. They're not really, you can tell someone's intention behind the video, and they're not really sharing anything of value. So there's never been a bigger opportunity, number of eyeballs there. And then from a standpoint of it's a good time to get started. Did I miss the boat? No. You can get in there and you can beat people out. Like I just started a podcast this year. Everybody and their mom told me podcasts are saturated. The world doesn't need another podcast. What I found out, Dave, is mine's blowing up now, and we've gotten to 25K subs on YouTube in this, and just by taking it seriously this year. And all I did was post once or twice a month. Nothing crazy, but I really was doing it with intention, right? It's like speaking or anything you do. If you get good at it, You become in the you just be surprised how easy it is to beat the competition if you took it seriously. So all that to say is massive opportunity. It's not too late to get started. And there are some tactical things you can do to shorten the learning curve and to get results faster, which we can get into in this call as well.
I hope you guys wrote something down. He said you can say something valuable. And
Yes.
I think that is one of the differences that I see between the people that crush it and the people that don't, is that the people that do, there's some of it is just they're funny, they're charismatic, they just have some X factor, like Jeremy Forcier. He's taken his brand to the next level, and not everybody can be Jay Force. Like he's just got a an ability. I mean, he could be a professional comedian, but he's
Yes.
also really valuable.
Well, it's
Like
also
his,
like he has a lot of knowledge to share. And I'm sure
yeah.
everybody watching, that when you talk to originators, Dave, what's the average tenure of people when you talk to them?
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there's
10
10,
years, 20
20
years, 30
years.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like people speak in decades now. It's like, how
But
long
I
you
don't,
been
by
in,
the
man?
way, I
3 years?
don't think you need to be though. Like I
No, you
literally
don't.
think there's never been a better time that someone could be new in this business and they could kill it. Like within 6 months, you could be as sharp, as confident as someone that's been doing it for 10 years. Like I just think it's never been
Well,
easier
here's
to
the
jump
thing
in the
that people
space.
need to understand. It's not about the person who has the most knowledge when it comes to online attention. It's not about who's the best. It's about who is the best known and who can package the information properly. So everybody's got a lot of information here. And the reason why you see some young new entrants to the industry crushing it and beating out the older competitors or more experienced folks doesn't matter about your age, by the way. We have people in my group who are 50s and 60s and are crushing the young guys because they're more consistent. So age doesn't matter. But I will tell you, experience doesn't matter either because, like you just said, if you're going to take it seriously and someone else isn't, you win. So I used to be mad because the people in my market who were beating me in production, I felt I was better at the job. But what I found out, there's merit doesn't matter. It's about how many people know you, how many people refer you, right? That everybody knows this. Like, you need more people. And so if you have a business, I believe that nobody here has like a business problem. Their business is like they're sound. When they do their, I would guess that of the 95 people watching right now, most of your clients are happy with your service at the end. So you don't have a business problem. You have an awareness problem. Not enough people know that. So not enough people know that you can help them. And you would be shocked. Every single person on this call would be shocked at how many people are just a few questions away from working with you, but you'll never talk about this online. They're literally there on the fence, but they're not ready to move just yet. So we're in this era, Dave, which is there are so many people who are indecisive. They're scared. Like prices are high, interest rates are high. There's challenges out there. The economy is, people don't know what's going on with inflation. Are we going to see a pullback? Are we going to see a recession? Or is it not a recession? What's Trump doing here? Like there's so many questions. And what it causes is a lot of people to sit on the fence. They don't sell their house and upgrade. They don't get into the home market because they're worried about overpaying for a home. So there's all these concerns. If you ever just want to learn about the concerns, just go to ChatGPT or any AI software and just ask, like, what are the top 10 concerns of millennials who want to buy a home in 2025? It will tell you a list of them. Debt, inflation, all the things I just talked about. So if you become the person that addresses those concerns on a consistent basis, they will feel comfortable to start the process with you. And so what I found is most people hop on social and say, call me for all your mortgage needs. Let me know when you're ready to get pre-approved. People aren't ready for that just yet. They will be, but you should rather say, you know, if you're worried about overpaying for a home, I get it, man. Prices are high, but here's one thing you can do to make sure you don't overpay. Or here's a unique perspective. I want to look at this chart and show them some data, So there's so many things you could do to address their concerns, and I feel like that is the space that everyone's missing. They're getting on to pitch their self and their services, and it comes off as very self-serving. What you want to do is put yourself in the viewer's shoes and be like, hey, man, if I'm somebody who is thinking about buying a I'm concerned about overpaying, what would help me? Like, what's the information and what's the perspective that would help me, the viewer? If you take that mind shift with your content, you'll separate from everybody. Because I'm telling you right now, I can count on one hand how many people do this in my market. In some markets, it might be 0 people. Where else have you seen that type of opportunity? It's just a huge, it's literally just a land grab right now for the people who want to take this seriously. And we're at 100 people on the call, Dave, live, and then I'm sure you'll get a lot of people watching the replay. No disrespect to anybody here, but I think we're talking to like 5 people, bro. Everybody else, it's in one year, out the other. I've been speaking
Yeah.
on this for years, and at every event, it's just a small fraction who try it and they stick with it. Those who do, every single time they message me afterwards, dude, you were right. I'm crushing it. Thank you so much. And they message me afterwards. Everybody else goes back to business as usual, and another year goes by, and they're like, "Dang, we'll be running this call, Dave, next December 2025, heading into 2026, and somebody's gonna be like, you know what? I need to get started with that social media thing. You would have already been there if you just took action today. Like, so my thing is like, Dave, how do we get people here? How do we get that number from 5 to 10 out of 100? How do we get it to 10% of this call? Somebody clicks with them and they're like, you know what? I'm going to take that seriously. That nerdy guy that Dave brought on, I'm going to try some of those videos and I'm going to do it once a week. Just once a week. Give me once a week for 52 weeks. And then you'll be messaging me and Dave next year about how your life has changed.
All right,
It's
let's see.
it's that powerful.
I have a feeling we got a pretty good group of folks, guys. I'm going to push a poll real quick. How often, this group right now, are you using social media to be valuable? Are you doing it daily? You doing it weekly? You doing it monthly? Sometimes, never. And guys, this is
That's a good
anonymous.
poll.
I don't know how many people. I know how many people vote so far. We just hit 50% of you have voted. Guys, let's give me to 60%. Like, let's not just have entertainment. Let's have some education right now. By the way, I use social media daily to be valuable. My strategy has been YouTube for over 15 years. Uh, I post almost daily on LinkedIn, targeting mortgage executives. We've got a Facebook group. Here's the answers, guys. So let's just process this real quick. We got
Oh, pretty good. Okay, these are
we
good.
got we got 9% using daily. Great job. We got 31% weekly. Great job. And then we have 19, over 50% that are monthly, sometimes never. And so first of all, to the nevers, it's never too late and it's to get started. And so I really would push you, like, guys, we are in a race to 2027. And I'm going to create some content next week. You'll see it on LinkedIn where I make a case for what are the biggest opportunities right now in 2025. And if you take what I'm going to share next week, and I'll give some cliff notes on it today, and create some social media content around that, guys, you will be more valuable to your database. You'll be more valuable to your customers. And here's what happens when you start doing it. You're a better teacher. You know what happens when you're a better teacher? You're more confident. You actually start liking your job better. Like you get better at doing your job, and then you also have this halo effect. So, guys, this is the year to get
I
started.
love that. Dave, let's pause on this real quick. This is a great point of like, maybe I'm not passionate about teaching or content or social media or personal brand. Like I was not either. And most people would say they're not.
By the way,
It's
I
just,
can tell you, I was at his conference. He played some videos from back in the old day, and you're
yeah.
like, bro, but he did it. He got through the pain. And when I go
Yeah.
back and
And
listen
even
and
guys like,
watch my first YouTube videos, I'm just like,
yeah,
what?
it's cringe.
Who is
But
that guy?
it's like, if you don't look back and it's bad, then you're doing it wrong. You should be improving.
Yeah.
So, but what Dave said is really important is that you don't like all of a sudden start and you suck and you feel passionate about this. When you start to get confident, that's when the passion comes. And now you're like, man, I love this. Like, I actually do. For me, I used to hate public speaking. And even, I could do great one-to-one with my clients or sitting in a small room. But if you put me in front of like 20, 30, 40 realtors or clients, I would be like, a little bit shook from a confidence standpoint. The ancillary benefits of being good on social, like you get more confident in your conversations, your close rate goes up. Everybody should, I think, would agree here that we need to close more of the opportunities we get. Your batting percentage needs to be really high right now because there's less opportunities coming. So you need to capture and close those. There's nothing more powerful than, having a confident presentation using things like Mortgage Coach and all these things that people do, video presentations. I'm a big advocate of that one-to-one. But then now turning that into more conversions, but then now also using your social as a thing to help you convert. You'd be shocked, man. If you follow your clients and engage with their content, or they follow you, actually drive them to connect with you on social, you'll be shocked at how many people stop shopping you and start working with you, and you recognize as you the guy or gal I want to work with. I don't think, for people on here who post who said that they're posting every week, every day, that's awesome. I would argue like, hey, let's look at how to make your content better. That would be one thing, and reach more people. Second thing is I would say, how do you leverage this to get more business? Because a lot of people are posting, but they're like, well, what's the point? I'm not getting anything. You be like, I think we could look at your profiles live, and you would, and your content, and maybe you're not asking for business, maybe you're not closing that circle. And so there's so many things you could do tactically to like make it more of an ROI. And I think once, like Dave said, once you start getting the benefits, then you'll become really excited about it. That's the cool thing, is like when you're getting paid for this, you'd be like, damn, that's fun. Like I enjoy that. That was good. That was easier. That made my job easier.
So guys, first of all, if you do not already follow Neel on all social media channels, do it now. Actually, I just put a link to his Instagram. He's valuable. Like the content he puts out is valuable. And as we start to get into tactical, I'm gonna show a story today and just make a point. Uh, Hopefully you guys will be able to hear this. Hopefully it'll play. Are you seeing this, Neel?
It's black right now. I think you have
Mm,
to share your screen.
uh, well,
Are you
it's
trying to share
it's
your iPhone?
I was trying to share something of yours, but it's pausing out. I'm gonna have to not try to do too much with my computer in one day. But he did a story today, and I was checking out Neel. By the way, he's got almost 200,000 followers on Instagram. But he did a story on Loom. Tell
Dave,
everybody.
Dave, hold on. Your screen froze up, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to stop it, so I might
Yeah.
have to leave and come back. But tell everybody the little Loom hack, because I want to get tactical, and I think what you shared on about Loom today is just a nice little tactical hit. I was going to actually
Yeah.
play the video and then make a point, but everything's freezing on me.
Yeah. So one of the tactics I was sharing today was, if you are, hold on one second. Let me see. There we go. So if you are someone who is, like if you're someone who wants to put out a video that would help people and actually reach a lot of people, think about this. Put yourself in the audience perspective. What's a tool or resource that would help them? So I have two categories of this. One would be, what's a tool or resource or program that would help buyers? Also, what's a tool or resource that would help my referral partners, which is real estate agents that work with our team and other lenders who work in our company and beyond. Like my audience is a lot of lenders in real estate throughout the country. So what's something that would help their business? Now, sometimes the programs and tools that you're helping with buyers all actually serve both goals. You're actually helping the industry, plus you're helping buyers, because the industry people need to learn about this stuff more. So from Dave's example yesterday, all I did was like, hey, I'm using this Loom tool to help people reach more, to help explain things to my team, to help explain things to clients. So I just made a 40-second video on how to use that tool and how it's helping my business and the cool features within it. And I posted that. Now, that was just a quick story, nothing much, but a lot of people viewed that as value. Now, what's in it for me on that video? Nothing. What's it tied to my mortgage business? Was there a call to action to call me and start your pre-approval? No, that was just something I put out of value to help somebody. So that's what you call like bringing real value. There's no agenda. I'm just saying, hey, here's a helpful tool. You should use it. Here's how I'm using it. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. And that crushed. Like for me, a lot of people messaged me and thanked me for that. So I'm just planting all these seeds, giving all these deposits. Think about this. When you're building an audience and you're serving the audience, how many deposits can you make? When you're building your brand, think about it's like a bank account. You keep giving value, you're making deposits. You keep sharing things. Now it could be something personal, it could be something business related, whatever. Advice, maybe a story that happened to you and what's in, how what happened, what's the lesson in it. You can share that. What happens is your bank balance keeps growing. Now, when you want to do some sales activity, A, there's people there ready and willing to listen and refer you and work with you. But then B, they're open to the message. Like they're like, okay, I like this guy or gal. I want to watch his video about this. I feel like people are running the second without doing the first. So they're like, hey, why isn't it working for me? I'm running all these plays on getting clients and I'm not getting much much response. It's because you're overdrawn. Your bank balance is overdrawn with the audience. Like you need to make more deposits and serve the platform more before you do that. So it's kind of a give and take. If you ever read the book years ago from Gary Vee, Jab, 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 Right Hook, like you need to throw more jabs before you throw the hook. And a lot of people, even as they say they're doing a jab, it's really a hook. It's like they're asking for business in every single post, which is fine. It's better than doing nothing because at least you're on there and you're showing things. But don't you should realize that that's the reason why you don't really get much back from social. You need to give more. So that was just an example of this. Now, there was a couple people who had posted just quick questions I just want to answer really quick before we continue. So somebody had asked about, should you be building your team brand or personal brand? You'll notice that more people want to follow you as an individual. So if it was like Neil Home and my personal brand, I got more from that than I would if it was the Neil team or, the mortgage company I work for, right? People they connect with humans and you can build that authentic human connection. So it's David versus Goliath. The big companies, the better.coms, the freaking Zillows, the Rocket Mortgages, right? Those are the big companies, the behemoths. They have scale of market. Now, you as an individual, you have something that they don't. You have your personality, your ability to help clients, your personal expertise, your knowledge of the local market. That is something that they don't have. They don't have boots on the ground in every market, right? So use that to your advantage and build your personal brand rather than trying to compete on their level, which is like doing company brands. So I would say go all in on building the personal page, not necessarily the team page. You'll get more traction. If you don't like sharing things on your personal page, I noticed some people in our group will set up two personal pages. One is private, where they share like really private things just for friends and family. And then another one is their second personal page, which is their big personal brand that's public facing. I would say that the more personal things you can share on your public facing personal brand, the more connections you'll make because that differentiates you from everybody else. But if you're not comfortable sharing your kids or personal things, like just share as much as you can. But just realize this: if it's all business and there's no personal, personal stuff, you will be missing out on a big piece of this whole puzzle. Like you'll be missing out on that connection piece. So I want to go through some different tools that you could use. Like Fong asked, what are alternatives to Facebook because I got hacked? Well, there's ways you can reach out and get your account back, but I would definitely start posting on Instagram. I get the most traction there, especially with the DM strategy that we use. So I love doing that. You can use TikTok. You can use LinkedIn. There's so many other platforms, but Facebook is great for the older audience. Instagram is great for the millennial and elder millennial, and then TikTok would be better for the younger group. So there's just different people on different platforms. YouTube long form is great. Like I was just talking to your boy Sean Herrero, Dave, and he was talking about he's going all in on YouTube next year. He's already started filming
Yes,
50
I
plus
actually did
videos.
not know that yet.
Yeah, he told me he's going to take it super seriously, and he's like, man, I'm going to do this. And he's great on video. And he's, by the way, the same kind of guy who would tell you videos from 5-6 years ago and how cringe they were and how good he is now, right? So, yeah, there's all these different platforms you can use. But
What about LinkedIn
so
for
I am not
mortgage
personally using. So
professionals?
here's the thing: if you're like do Instagram, TikTok, this, YouTube, there's a different strategy. It's a little nuanced. Like how you would retain the audience for a 10-minute video on YouTube where you give the full information is totally different than making a 37-second Instagram video. So it's a different skill set. It's a different hat that you put on. It is still, you need to be good on video, but it's a different strategy. Now, you can do more than you think. You can do multiple things. But if you're not consistent on one platform, I would tell you, let's just get consistent on that before you start adding like 5 different things. Because we could tell you to do 5 things and you'll do none. If I told you to do 2 things, then you'll probably get more traction. Rodney said he likes making structured long videos that you chop up into shorts. That's a great strategy. Like right now, this call is being recorded. There are clips that can be posted. The long forms can be on YouTube, but Dave and I can chop short 30-second, 40-second clips of sound bites that can be posted on social that will do really well on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So you can definitely chop long form into short form. The thing is, when you're doing the long form, you need to get good at delivering the content clear and concise. So you almost start to speak in sound bites because you know that this is going to be a clip later. So like if Dave asked me for a tip and I was like, we're going to put this on long form, but I'm like in my head, I'm thinking, hey, this could be a good, Dave asked me for a tip. This could be a good clip for social later. I'll answer the question something like this. I'd be like, you know what, Dave, like this is the one thing that changed my whole business. This one tip, and let me share it with you guys. And then I go into it like that. I'm setting it up for this clip later on
Let
social.
me
So you
let me
start thinking
wait.
like that.
Let's do some clips. Let's
Yeah,
lead by example real quick.
yeah, yeah.
And for anybody that wants to take, I don't know, long form, a YouTube video and get some clips out of it, give us a
Yes.
little 1 minute clip on how to do that.
Yeah. So this is the great. I'll give you the strategy on this: is teaching in frameworks and formulas. Right? You want to be able to teach things in a clear, concise way, and people love it when you name things. So this is my three-step process. This is my 3C formula. This is my XYZ, whatever it is. When you name it, it gives it more importance versus just telling the people the thing. So what I do is like for content, I will tell you my system is the 3C system. It's content, connection, conversion. So you have to do all three, otherwise you don't get the benefits of this. So I could teach that system in a long form video where I go through the whole thing. But the short form clip would be like, all right, if you're trying to build a personal brand, this system will change the game for you. And this is how I've scaled my brand to hundreds of thousands of followers and made millions of dollars from social media directly. And that is the 3C system: content, connection, conversion. You got to do all three. Let's get into it. Like, so then you could set up the stage and it's just a little clip where you're giving the nugget. And then if you want people to watch the whole thing, they'll go watch the whole thing, but it almost serves as like a trailer to the whole thing. So these clips are great and you can drive traffic. So I love Rodney's suggestion of like, hey, I'll give them little nuggets that are consumable on social and then drive them to the long video where they can get the whole thing if they want it. What's interesting is you would think that like if you got a low number of views that it's a failure, but I would reposition that whole thinking because when you're making bottom of the funnel content, like it's very niche content, a small number of viewers has a high impact. Dave, you and I were just in Charlotte. We were helping the movement impact summit. There was 250 people there. When you're speaking to 250 individuals, it's a lot of people in the room. Like that's a lot of faces, a lot of impact that you're making with these people. Conversely, someone makes a video on social and you get 250 views and you think it's a failure. Like think about it. If you had 250 people watch you on YouTube for half of the 10-minute video, that is massive. Like how else were you going to reach that many people today on a random Friday in December, right? So like these niche topics, when you get people when you're actually making an impact with people, it's huge. So just think about like what are these people need and how can you deliver it to them? That's the key.
Yeah, one to many is where it's at, guys. So
Yes.
my dean last year was obsessed with impact. In 2025, I'm be the change. Uh,
Yep.
for anybody that watches this channel, you guys know I am very passionate about changing how people get into debt in America. And I do believe that giving people advice so that they not only achieve sustainable homeownership, but that they achieve financial freedom. And being a mortgage professional could do that. It's something I'm very passionate about. Also, for First Home IQ, I believe with all my passion that there is a financial literacy crisis in America. And I believe that the mortgage industry and the real estate agent can make a massive difference. Like it's a problem that almost seems unsolvable. I've, given up hope that governments or schools, institutional school systems will address this. Like, they're not. It's not going to happen. I could go on about that, but we as a
You'd be
mortgage
shocked, Dave. Like
industry,
I'm shocked all the time of how little people understand about
money.
money and down payments and they're even the logic around buying homes and all these things. Like they just have it wrong and they've been taught the wrong thing or some uncle told them this that a while ago and that's what they believe now, right? And so it's up to us I'm
To
100% with you,
change,
Dave. Like
be the
it's up to us
change.
to change, and all of us doing this matters. Like your advice matters. You make an impact. I think we should stop downplaying the impact that we have on people. You do this every day. The customer does this once in 5 years, once in 10 years, maybe once in their whole life. Like if you can impact them to make that decision and help them, you'd be shocked. Real quick example, and then we'll get into just wrapping up with like some tactical things that people can actually post videos on, because I want to make sure you guys have an actionable tip from today that's going to crush it for you. But I was just speaking at the NAMB conference, Dave, and I was speaking on stage and I was teaching a group of mortgage professionals about content marketing and all these tactics and tools they can use. Afterwards, and I'm here local in Vegas. Afterwards, this guy who's the head of catering, he was just, taking care of the lunch for all of the executives there. He comes up to me and he says, Neil, I just want to say thank you so much for your videos. And I was kind of taken back because it wasn't one of the attendees. It was a guy in the catering department for Caesar's Palace. And he's like, Neil, you know what? I bought a home last year. We finally became homeowners here in Vegas. And it was because of your videos on social. And I just want to thank you for the content you put out there. So my first reaction was, bro, why didn't you use me as your mortgage guy? Like you bought a home, you never contacted me, even though you watched the video. But then I got over that real quick and I was like, dude, that's really cool that my advice got this guy into a home. And it was just it was like, I know this, and I think we all know this, but like my advice from a random video that maybe I thought was a failure changed this family's life. Like this guy got into a home. He's now in a better place. He's, set up his family for future. And like, it was somebody who wasn't going to do that. And I somehow convinced him to do that. So all that to say is like, you don't know the impact you're making. You just need to like keep doing this and really connect to those stories of like, okay, my advice can change people's lives. And then now you can take it more seriously.
Love it. Well, hey, we're going into the fourth quarter. Here's my ask of you as we go into this last fourth quarter. So we've got a lot of people on this community that use Mortgage Coach, like your sister Shivani. So you're very familiar with what we do and how we give that total cost analysis. And there's value. It could be a rent versus own, go from renting to owning. Also, First Home IQ, we're one of the goals this year is to get more of our ambassadors. We've got a lot of ambassadors watching this. I'm seeing a number of them. What's up, Michael Creed? That want to get more people through the quiz. We've got a 20-question free quiz that's really created for homeownership readiness. Like we want to get more parents sharing it with their kids, more connect with Gen Z. What are some tactical ideas in which we can use either one or both of those platforms but use social media to get more people into our advice in our quiz?
Yeah. So I love quizzes and self-assessment. That is the number one way to convert, people into your service is getting them to a self-assess. So if I were to say, Dave, let's just say I made a video about how a millennial can buy a home in today's market and not overpay. And here's a strategy you can use. And at the end, I said, if you want to learn how, if you want to find out if you're ready to buy a home or to learn where you stand in just 60 seconds, take my home buyer quiz or my 2025 home buyer readiness quiz. You'll be shocked how many people will take that because they want to do it on their own. Like people think they can do everything by themselves. They want to be their driver of their own destiny, all these kinds of cool things. So they want to just do it themselves. They don't necessarily want to call you. So if I were to make that video, a good video, and at the end, I told them to take the self-assessment, I would get a lot of people. If I made the same video and at the end I said, hey, if you would like to get the process started, hit the link in my bio, we can set up a time and we can do your pre-approval. You might get no people. And so the difference is hundreds of people to zero. And I'll show you guys an example before we leave of a video I just put out where I gave a call to action and there's literally hundreds of leads in the comments. So I think this is the thing. I will tell you this. There's a lot of people that talk about social media, Dave, and they will tell you tactical things and stuff. And then you're like, there's a lot of people who kind of sit in disbelief within the industry. Like, well, it didn't work. Like, can you show me how it works? Nothing sells like results. You need to show proof. You can't just talk about things. You need to show things. So in the content that I've been producing that's been reaching the most people, I will actually show some numbers, show some things on the screen, and then I'll get the lead. So I can share my screen really quick, and I'll just share an example because I think it's hard for people to picture this. Let me just give you guys a quick example of a video where you can generate leads, okay, and actually drive people to your quiz, your lead magnet, whatever it is that you're trying to drive people to. Hopefully this works because I think when Dave tried it,
and while he's pulling it up,
computer.
Vicky, yes, Shivani is Neil's brother. So in case you did not know that, I will put a link. Anybody watch this? I'll put my most recent interview with Shivani. She's one of America's best mortgage professionals and advisors. She's killing it on social. She kills it with mortgage.
Yeah, she's crushing it on social as well, which is awesome. So let me show you guys this, and maybe we should have done this at the beginning just to get you guys understanding that this is how you can actually make this work for you. So here's one. I have a bunch of different types of content which we could get into, but I have one where I shot the video just on my phone at my desk. I'm trying to find this one really quick. It's here somewhere. And ended up getting a ridiculous amount of leads. Here we go. Okay, and it wasn't one of my top performing videos, by the way, but it just crushed in terms of lead gen. So check this out.
But you're worried about these high rates and payments?
Let me
The new
start this one.
You want to buy a home, but you're worried about these high rates and payments? Check this out. There's a new program that's available for certain communities within all the markets across the country. Now, this is Las Vegas, and the yellow areas are eligible for this program. These are all the listings within that market that are available. And the homes in these yellow areas are eligible for below market rates, which gives you a lower monthly payment. So let me give you an example. Here's a property that our client is purchasing for $400,000. And because it's in one of the yellow areas, they're going to save over $3,000 a year in interest. So here's the thing. If you're looking to buy a house and you want to find which homes are available in your market, just comment the word home below and I'll send you a link to this map. You want to buy a home, but you're worried about these high rates and payments?
Let me mute this for you guys. Go into the comments. I'm telling you guys, these are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people asking for the information. Now, some are realtors, which are partners. There's a few loan officers in here who just want to funnel hack and learn what I'm doing. This is cool, but most of the people are legit people who are interested in buying a home. I can tell you right now that if I would have said at the end of this video, Dave, call me or start the pre-approval process, I would have got one or two, if not zero, probably zero, versus 200 plus. I have example after example. I just did one last week, guys, where I talked about programs that are helping people buy a home. There's 400 leads in the comments just last week during the holidays. Okay. Like, this is working, it's crushing. And the reason why it's crushing is because none of you guys are doing it properly. So, I actually hope that everybody doesn't take action on the call, because maybe it'll dilute us a little bit. But, for the few people who want to do this, it works. So the formula is this. The formula is like, give them something of value, some information, and then your ask at the end needs to be something of even more value, something that would save them time or money, or do a self-assessment, a quiz. But that is something valuable to them. The thing at the end cannot be to talk to you. Most people on social media are selling the thing that the customer doesn't want, which is they don't want to talk. They will talk later, but not up front. They want to just push buttons and get things easy. They're like life on easy mode. They don't want to necessarily talk to you or do a full pre-approval just yet. So if you could back up the truck just a little bit and give them something of value, you'll get way more conversions.
Love this. So if you do this, share your success in our Facebook group. Last week, I did an interview where we shared a strategy to get some leads and conversations with financial planners. And I can't remember who it was, but you shared your success story in our group. Share that. Also, if you have an incredible post that delivered a lot of value and you want to share it with the community, put that in our Facebook group. Neel, I have this question. I posted this yesterday on LinkedIn. Down Payment Resources did a post on LinkedIn where they said that 79% of all FHA loans could have qualified for a down payment assistance program, and only 16% actually did. So that means 63% of every FHA loan in America that could have qualified for a DPA program didn't. I have to feel that, and by the way, I put this on LinkedIn, everybody. I have to feel that there's a pretty killer post right there. Like, how would you turn that into a lead magnet?
Okay, so essentially here's what you would do. So you would start the video with addressing the group that needs your help. There's different hooks to start your videos. And for those of you, this group is pretty advanced in terms of you guys are posting. You all know that the first 3 seconds of a video on social is really valuable. You need to get to the point. You cannot use that first 3 seconds to introduce yourself. So you just need to get straight into it. And that's getting even more advanced where you need to be into the topic now at the first 3, 4, 5 seconds. So one of the hooks, one of many that works, is to address the exact group that you're trying to help. This is called the dog whistle. It's just basically saying the group and what they're struggling with. So it could be if you're a millennial and you're struggling with coming up with a huge down payment, I want to show you this. How many people are eligible for down payment assistance? And if you don't know, down payment assistance is the government literally helping you to buy a home. There's also national programs, financing programs like FHA and USDA that help buyers with low down payment and limited resources. Now, the crazy thing is, if more people knew about this, they would actually become homeowners. But so few people understand this. And so my job, or like my mission in 2025, is to help more people understand this. I actually put together a quick cheat sheet on the type of financing you should use and whether or not you should use DPA. If you want to grab that sheet, just comment the word home and I'll shoot it to you, or DM me the word home and I'll send it to you. Now, what I've done there is I'm saying, hey, here's the group I'm addressing. Here's some information that helps overcome a disbelief or limiting belief that you may have. And then here's a free resource I can give you. Another free resource at the end could be take the quiz. It could be like, if you're a millennial and you actually want to learn whether or not you actually might qualify for one of these things, take my 60-second homebuyer quiz. You'll find out in literally a minute whether or not you should move forward with the process or not. And then those questions on the quiz are just self-assessed. It's like, how would you rate your credit? Do you have any money down? Do you make it over a certain amount of money? Like, you can set just a few quick questions on the quiz. And it's really simple. Now, Dave, I don't know if you've got this pushback from people, but they have told me that they don't like the DPA leads and these type of program leads because they're the least qualified buyer and it's hard. I want to work with luxury and jumbo people. Like, me too. But what you'll find is there's a lot of people on social who need that advice. And so you're addressing the masses there. In that group, you'll have the opportunity to also now talk to the affluent. There's going to be somebody in the group who actually has 10, 20%. I just did a quiz on a DPA lead magnet, and the quiz asked how much money you have for down. I was shocked at how many people opted in for DPA information, but they actually have 5 to 10% down. So these are better quality leads than you would think. And we use technology to screen all of this so that you don't have to like call these people. You just you let the tech kind of pan for gold for you.
Yeah, and one of the strategies with First Home IQ is there's parents that want to help their kids get into homeownership. And even if the parents have the means to financially help them, they want to know everything that's available. So you could get very affluent jumbo folks with that. There's just a nuance to how you would communicate it. So Neel, I want to get more people from both Mortgage Coach and Trust Engine at your events and in your community this coming year. I want to get more First Home IQ ambassadors. So that when I'm at the event next
Ryan,
year.
you know what's funny? Not to interrupt you, Dave, but like the lead, what my pitch just now, with comment the word and I'll send you the guide. It was so good that Ryan actually commented home. He wants the guide now. That was a theoretical thing. I was just giving you an example, but I'm happy to give you one. I have so many different guides, and
Stay tuned, Ryan.
Don't overthink this, guys. The guide doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be simple. The goal is to get them in a conversation. So the guide is literally, for me, many times it's a Google Doc, Dave.
I was going to say, it could just be a Google Doc and you could make it with ChatGPT.
Exactly. I go to AI, I ask it, hey, I need to create a 2-page max quick resource sheet on this or that. Help me put this together. I literally copy, paste it into Google Doc, tweak it a little bit, put my branding on it. And then that link to that Google Doc is your lead magnet. And in there, it gives them the information and it prompts them to take the next step with you, which is either book a call or take a quiz. So this is just the kind of internet, social media lead gen 101 or 102 or 201, whatever. But happy to, go. And by the way, if anybody wants to go deeper on this stuff, just DM me on social. I have a bunch of free resources I'm happy to share with everybody here. So just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, guys, check this out. Just to prove it, I literally just told ChatGPT I need a 1-page guide on house hacking. And boom, like easy to, obviously it needs some editing, but I could make it 3 pages. So there's no excuse not to take
And you
action.
copy paste that into Google. It's done.
Yeah,
like you don't need to create a fancy
Doc.
website, nothing. It's literally your lead magnet is the link to the publicly shared doc. It is so simple. There are no excuses, like you said, Dave.
No excuses, guys. So if anybody wants to attend your event next year, first of all, where should they be following you? How can people sign up, be part of your mastermind? How do we get more people from my community into your community?
Yeah, thanks for just collaborating. I love the fact that Dave is always helping share things that are valuable to the audience, and then there's a power in collaborating. I would encourage loan officers to collaborate with other loan officers on the call. Even though you guys are a competition, you'll notice that the people who are really competitive and talking crap about each other are at the bottom. Everybody at the top, people like Jeremy Forcier, people like Dave talks to every week, Sean Herrera, all these guys and gals, Shivani, we're all collaborating. Even though we're competitors in the same industry, we're helping each other grow. So I would encourage more collaboration in this community. As far as how to connect with me, just DM me on Instagram, follow me at Neel Home. I will post a lot about our event when we launch it. It's in July 11th and 12th, if you want to put it on your calendar. This is the best event that you will ever attend in our industry, the best industry event you'll ever attend. and I can write that check because it won't bounce. Like Dave just said, it's a really good. We just get the feedback from people, and then every year we improve it. It's my mission to make this thing the best and have the most impact on our industry, and we do that every year. We
Did
change
you say
laws.
11th and 12th? July
July
11th?
11th and 12th, 2025 is the dates. It's in Las Vegas. You can't buy tickets just yet. We do a launch in the first quarter, and so just stay tuned. You'll get access to it. This event is one of the rare events in the industry that sells out every year. Every seat is taken. It's not, one of these ones you could wait till the end and just pop in. I remember Dave was like, "Hey, can I bring my son?" And I literally had to force him onto the list because I had to tell people in the room like, "Hey, dude, I know we're at capacity." It becomes like a fire marshal thing. Like if you have too many people in the room at the ballroom, they can shut down your event. So we actually are at capacity every year. But you'll notice if you follow me on IG, I'll post all about it. You won't be able to miss it in terms of if you're just watching my stuff, you'll see it and you'll have an opportunity to attend. But would love to meet people there in person. It's an awesome way to connect and collaborate.
And guys, he is not kidding. It is that good. It is that packed. We literally had to pull a chair up and, didn't even have room in the area where we put my son, but highly recommend you guys follow Neel. He's creating value. My mission is to change how people get into debt, to get more 20-year-olds into homeownership. And that means you need to have influence. That means you need to have influence at scale. You need to be able to give advice. Hopefully, many of you, if not most of you, are using Mortgage Coach to give advice. You're part of this trust engine community. For anyone that wants to become a First Home IQ ambassador, just email me, Dave at Mortgage Coach, and we'll get you hooked up. Bro, I am grateful for you. I hope to collaborate more with you this year. Let's do more together in 2025.
Yeah.
And
And Dave, real quick
what a
before
great
you,
first event.
yeah, this is awesome, man. And I'd love to do more of this and even go deeper. And I just want to say, man, I really appreciate just the consistency and the energy you bring to the space because everybody in the industry is always like, I will say this, your personal brand, one definition of your personal brand is what people say when you're not in the room. And everybody's always, when your name comes up, Dave, bro, it's always like, dude, I love that guy. Love the message he puts out. Love the energy he brings to the industry. And so I know you're aware of this because people tell you, but I just want to say, man, like your personal brand is solid in the industry, and it's based on how much you give back and how much you help. Like you wouldn't be doing this at your age if if you didn't love it, like you love putting out the stuff and helping
I do
people.
love it, man.
I can tell even when I just saw you in Charlotte, like you light up giving people the information, and I just love that, man. So thank you for what you do for all of us, man.
Well, it's great to see you building the community you're bringing and the energy you're bringing into our space, brother. So much love.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, man.
Guys, have a happy new year. Come in to the new year recovered and clear on how you're going to kick ass, take names, and be the change in your local community. Be the change with people that follow you on social media. Let's get after it. Let's make 25 awesome. Cheers, everybody. This is a wrap.
Guys.